Hello and welcome to my channel. I am San Day On, and today I've decided to rank the Dragon Ball Z villains. Previously I did Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z fans, today is the day for you. Today I'll be ranking the Dragon Ball Z villains based on how good they were. Alright, let's get started then. Firstly, we have Raditz. Alright then. See. Alright, Hannah Miracle. Thanks a lot for posting this image. I'll be using this image for the visual. Alright, for Raditz. He was technically the first villain in Dragon Ball Z. In that case, my first impression about him was he was the first Saiyajin. And from that time on, we get to know Goku himself is a Saiyajin. And let me just say, speaking of strength, he probably was better than Piccolo that time. He felt pretty powerful according to me. He was indeed challenging, but yeah, he also played dirty. Like he was literally wanting to manipulate Goku into, just taking Gohan as hostage, who was a little kid, which makes his villainous intentions more, makes him look more like a villain, intentions wise. And if we talk about power was also great according to that time though, because yeah, that time we didn't have Super Saiyajin now. It was just starting, so for that reason he was looking pretty strong that time. But yes, the fact is he is pretty forgettable because he was defeated quite. It was past with Piccolo and Goku teaming up together, even though it actually ended up in Goku's sacrifice. Don't know, Dragon Ball logic, they get resurrected, right? That's what happened. And basically if we have to rank Raditz, he's technically not really good enough to compete against other villains. The other villains are far more stronger. When it comes to the intentions part, as the brother of Goku and the one who could dominate planets, the ambitions though. Yeah, that's good, but he's actually under Vegeta. So you can say that he doesn't qualify as top class technically. Comparatively though, and also he ends up, his reign ends pretty early. Okay, not even reign by the way. Goku finishes him off pretty early, and I don't think there is much reason for me to waste time on him. Let's move on to the next one then. Alright, I got the next villains, Nappa and Vegeta. So basically the first arc basically focused on the Saiyajin themselves, who were actually wanting, I guess the most important part is they wanted to destroy Earth, or basically just whatever the thing, but Saiyajin seemed to be the main villains at the first, and obviously they were pretty much tough that time. Alright, for the picture, Fernando Lima Rosa, thanks a lot. And then the fact is, just like Raditz, they were far stronger compared to Raditz. For that reason they would be ranked higher in my list. And Vegeta himself is sort of a pretty good as a villain and a pretty good anti-hero, the one with pride. That really suits him, hits him as a pretty good villain in Vegeta arc at least. And he also acts as a pretty big villain. Yeah, he's definitely the villainous guy, meant to be the villain type. Vegeta really fits that role pretty well. Look at the other pictures, just look at their looks, it just shows you the villainous nature of them. Nappa, and it is exotic, okay? Thanks a lot, exotic, it's pretty exotic. Okay, didn't mean it as a rhyme though. Anyways, so let's get back to the previous one. We have got other images in Pinterest, though I'm not really wanting to utilize the other images. But there are quite a lot of images that you can get. But yeah, what I'll say is that They are they were pretty much nightmarish, just like Piccolo arc. That arc was also darker. Or obviously that arc was probably darker compared to Piccolo. I mean, Saiyajin was on a different level compared to Piccolo even. Though Piccolo was later on um, revealed to be the Namekian or Namek Seiji, Vegeta, and Nappa. We have someone of even higher level compared to the Saiyajins. But yeah, that time those Saiyajins really seem to be challenging. And yes, Saiyajins themselves or Saiyan themselves was seem to be the fighting race. So it was definitely tough for any humans to beat them. Oh, obviously, that role went to Goku for taking them down because he himself was a Saiyajin, and he also liked battling. That worked. And as for the others, they really struggled, and we had many deaths yet again here, making it another one of the most darker arcs, the Vegeta arc especially. Yeah, leading to a lot of deaths, a lot of casualties. Now let's move on to the next villain, your likable one. Obviously he joined Goku's. Also Nappa was killed by the way by Vegeta. Nappa is definitely a villain who just destroys everything on his path type. Yeah. And Vegeta is the pride guy. So well, let's move on to the next one then. And whom do we have here? None other than Frieza. Frieza-sama. Okay, so about Frieza, he is not to be underestimated. He's almost having that god complex and the pride. It is far more than compared to Vegeta. I mean, he's on a totally different level. Goku, it was the first time Goku actually had to summon his Super Saiyajin form. Now, Frieza is definitely the most iconic villain of Dragon Ball, most remembered. Even Vegeta was almost killed by it. But Frieza's full form, Goku was the one who's evolving constantly, and he even surpasses Vegeta that time. Yeah, in the first battle against Vegeta, he definitely struggled a lot, but that Frieza arc changed him totally. The part almost leading to sacrifice. It seemed like a sacrifice for Goku, but yeah, he was somehow alive, and it was a pretty close battle. But in the final part, though, Goku had the advantage all along. It really seemed that way. In the first parts, he was struggling, and then in the climax part, Frieza almost seemed like a child. Which is the interesting part right here. I actually noticed the battle scenes pretty minutely, not missing a single detail. Obviously, right now I have forgotten a lot of the battle scene, but the way the battle went, awesome. That was pretty much realistic, having some realism to it. Yeah, like Vegeta wanted to battle and just went down, and he was almost seemingly dead. And thanks to the resurrection thing of Dragon Balls, um, for which they get resurrected again, Vegeta was killed literally by this thing, by this monster, and this demon was also the reason behind the destruction of the entire Saiyajin, I mean the entire planet where the Saiyans lived. So yeah, he destroyed everything, including the planet. And yes, that actually makes him having the power to destroy an entire planet, and especially the Saiyajin race, the entire one of them. It had the power to take them all down and just become like a god. It just ruled them like a god. Just think of it. It just made it more iconic and most remembered villain ever. Though it was the first time Goku actually used his Super Saiyajin form. So it literally took him the first time Goku used Super Saiyajin form was against Frieza, and it feared Super Saiyajin very much. That worked against Frieza. So definitely Frieza gets a level up here. That was a level up part for Goku, first time using Super Saiyan form. Alright, let's move on to the next villain. There are better villains even compared to Frieza. They're on a whole top level. And that was the Android arc Bradley. Eduardo Martins Neto, thanks a lot. Did I mention who did Frieza? Anyways, well, Frieza, okay, Brittany. Alright, thanks a lot. I need to thank them all or else, Alright. here we have Jinzo Ningen Ju Hachigo and Jinzo Ningen Ju Hachigo, and I guess it is called, well, it's even called in Japanese. I guess it is called Ikini Go Rogu Nana Ju Nanago and Ju Hachigo. Yeah. So Ju Nanago and Ju Hachigo, for some reason, were pretty much a much bigger challenge. They were the androids, or Jinzo Ningen in Japanese. So they were pretty challenging though, let me just say. Even compared to Frieza, let's see, the fact was Trunks, the future Trunks that is, easily took down Frieza. He just used Super Saiyajin form and just easily took him down with the sword. Frieza as well as his father Cold. Obviously that pretty much defines how strong Trunks really was, right? That actually proves that Frieza is pretty easy to defeat for someone like future Trunks. As for them though, they were the Jinzo Ningen who were pretty specifically created by Dr. Gero of the Red Ribbon Army for beating Goku, who was the childhood that time destroyed. I said it already in the Dragon Ball video. So they actually used them to beat Goku, and they were pretty dangerous on their own right. They were pretty strong. So fact is, they probably were on the same level to Frieza or even more, because they actually had infinite energy, meaning they can definitely give him a fight if they wanted. But yes, they are not the main villains though. The main villains in the Android arc is different, but they definitely were pretty precious for the main villain, and their powers are pretty much, I mean, they alone had the ability to easily take down Vegeta. I mean, Ju Hachigo herself took down Vegeta pretty easily, though I don't think she would be able to right now, because Vegeta is also evolved by now, in the Super at least, up till I've seen. But that time, definitely. So yeah, and even Goku. By the way, they never got to battle Goku, but yes, their powers were really shown there. The way, I mean, the way they struggled. Even someone like Vegeta struggled against them, no matter what. So that obviously makes them pretty strong in their own right. Now let's come on to the next villain, the main villain of the Android arc that I'll be speaking of. Alright, this guy looks handsome, right? Okay, this is the guy who is far stronger than, it's obviously the absorbed form of Cell after absorbing both Ju Hachigo and Ju Nanago. And you know, before that it looked ugly, and after absorbing them both it looked pretty much handsome, you could say. But yeah, it was pretty dangerous in its own right. It got perfection. It is almost the perfect fighting machine. And let me just say, what Gero did was pretty dangerous, even for Goku. The way he made him overpowered, I mean, not overpowered, but rather too perfect. And that perfection of having the power, I mean, they literally had to go for Super Saiyajin 2. Vegeta and Goku, both of them. Though the problem was, thanks to Vegeta's overconfidence, we got this Cell. And yet they had to somehow make the worst case scenario possible. Definitely could have been easily beaten by Vegeta and Trunks, but Vegeta had to make it worse by making him absorb Ju Hachigo, and I really felt the moment was pretty disturbing for me. The way Vegeta I was just pretty much frustrated on Vegeta's decision. He just wanted, his pride sometimes makes you pissed off right away. And that's how we got this perfect thing. Even though I'm calling it handsome, at that time I absolutely hated it. And yes, when it beat Vegeta down, I was pretty happy. Because you know, he deserved what he got. That's my opinion, and yes, I was totally stuck to it. Though later on, we also had the tournament part. And it was a pretty long arc. And finally, it was technically taken down by Gohan somehow. Yeah, Goku also gave it a pretty good fight. And Gohan, that time still being a kid, he somehow managed to beat him, also with Goku's help. Yeah, it was a long battle, and you needed a Super Saiyajin 2 to actually take this thing down, making it more powerful compared to Frieza. Now, I want to tell you one thing. If you made it up till here, please share your opinion if you're like, oh, Liam Philip, thanks a lot for posting this. If you had made it up till here, please feel free to post your opinions based on my opinions, because obviously I may be wrong, may be right. And what do you feel about my commentary, or my or if you want to debate, you can definitely post it all in the comments. I'll gladly see that, because opinions differ. You are totally allowed to post your opinions, and definitely do post opinions, or else I won't be able to know if you are liking it or not, if you're liking my opinions or not. So yeah, the final part I will say about Cell, Gohan was like also the overconfident guy, except the fact he really liked fighting, just like Goku, just for the Saiyajin case. Except he also got too full of himself. Yeah, though he was a kid, but yes, he was forced to battle, which was weird, but yes, Goku definitely had confidence that Gohan is gonna win, and no one, even his mother, technically almost balanced Goku somehow, because yes, he just didn't really wanted him to fight, but Goku forced him to fight. Yes, and he did. He did most of the job. He almost won, by the way. Except, yeah, that part, the explosion part, and Cell regenerated yet again, even after the accumulation and all. But yes, the final strike, also leading to Goku's sacrifice, the explosion part, and all of their blast together finally managed to beat Cell. Yeah, it was a long one, but they really need a tournament to end it, almost like a Tenkaichi Budokai, except there was almost no rules. I mean, the out of bounds rules was not there. So yeah, you can say Tenkaichi Budokai was sort of, it was like a revolution of Tenkaichi Budokai. And yes, a pretty long arc. And definitely, if you have to rank him, definitely over Frieza. At least that time, it is the perfect being. It can easily outlast Frieza in strength. And even its ambitions, though, is just to prove himself superior compared to everyone, which makes it a top class villain. Proving superiority is also falling under villainous intentions. Yeah, that itself makes it pretty dangerous and pretty powerful. And yes, analyzing and growing stronger, evolving, slowly doing everything, and the perfect being. So yeah, that's what makes it pretty pure, perfection. Alright, now we are moving on to the next villain. And who could that villain be? None other than Majin Buu. Though it looks innocent that time, it was a villain. Andre R, thanks a lot. Majin Buu. Alright, if I have to talk about it, it did pretty intense stuff. Well, what it did? It was technically looking like a comedian Buu, or yeah, it just looked like a comedy mascot. First of all, first intentions, it just jumped, dropped everything, and yes, it was too powerful to even take down Kazeshi. It was that powerful. It was a fear demon, definitely. And it was Majin, or it was far more superior compared to anything you have probably seen. Definitely the top class and the most epic villain ever. So that time it was, the time it was showing, Gohan literally had grown up by that time. And Gohan was like a teenager. So basically it should have been, but somehow Goku was dead, weirdly enough. And now what? He just somehow got resurrected yet again. Which is a pretty weird fact for Dragon Ball. I mean, Goten just thought his father was dead, and suddenly he just finds his father is alive. Weird part, right? Yeah, that's the weird fact actually. And he just stays forever, weirdly enough. The one thought to be dead just went from, okay, I just went for a trip and I just came back. It was just a short little trip. I just wanted to disturb, what is it called? I forgot his name. Kaio. Kaio was pretty much, well, what can I say? He just wanted to disturb Kaio for some reason, and yeah. And yeah, after that he came back, some reason, and also going pretty stronger than before. came back from death. Yeah, that's pretty unrealistic. There are many unrealistic stuff happening in Dragon Ball for some reason, but the realistic part is they do it with Dragon Ball. Yeah, that's the only realism into it. But yeah, that all makes it look pretty weird. Anyways, now for Majin Buu part, I will say one thing. It was basically Gohan, and yeah, all the bells before resurrection of Buu. It was pretty intense. Um, but Majin Buu itself, Goku literally needed to go to Super Saiyajin 3 form uh, in the first part, and he had to battle it right there, and it just went on destroying everything on his path, wanting to conquer the entire Earth under its rule, making it feared, and just turning people to candies, eating it. It all looked pretty creepy that time, at least pretty creepy. Like you were literally getting eaten by him just like candies, and you were not able to do anything. He's just playing with you, he's just punching you, you're totally helpless. That itself makes him a pretty unsettling villain all along. That time he was literally unsettling. Okay, this is another picture. Andrea again, thanks a lot. You're the Majin Buu guy, alright. You're definitely good. Alright, Majin Buu definitely joined them later on after the finale part somehow. Okay, now the part where it gets interesting is this part. Majin Buu was obviously opened up to Saturn, Mr. Saturn that is, you obviously know him. The stylish guy who just seems like the one getting the fame while Goku does all the fighting, being the light guy instead of Goku. So what happened was he just sort of befriended. Obviously you know all the stuff, I don't have to tell it. And the part was we had a different version of Buu who is technically the main villain who absorbed this Majin Buu. Technically he was the part who just kept his actual spirit upheld. Without that Majin Buu, this thing won't, I think you won't understand if you hadn't watched Dragon Ball Z. I mean, without that Buu, this Buu won't be himself. He lost all his consciousness. He's basically Majin Buu, the real Buu that is, was meant to destroy everything on his path. He was the one who actually had the capability of taking down the Kaioshin. Kaioshin, oh, not Kaioshin, I just told Kaioshin. Kaioshin, and yes, he literally took down 4 of the Kaioshin, which makes them pretty incredibly strong. I mean, taking down someone of the Kaioshin level is pretty invincible, like they literally are related to universe. And they actually killed like 5 of the Kaioshin, north, east, west, south, something like that. One of them survived though. So having the capability of destroying the Kaioshin who is related to the universe, that itself makes it pretty terrifying force in the entire universe. I mean, just think of it. It had the capability of taking down an entire universe. That was the level of power it had. Probably more than Cell even. Yeah, Cell itself I don't think would have the power to do that. This thing was on a different top class level. That's what makes it even more epic villain. And yes, the arc was intensely long compared to Cell arc, which is what makes him pretty terrifying. By the way, no name though, okay. Yeah, so what I'll have to say about Majin Buu, the final villain of Dragon Ball Z. We had many battles. Gohan came first, then we had the Tian Sihan. Everyone battled him one by one, like even Gotenks. We also got Gotenks battling it. I mean, everything. Everyone just wanted to spar with him. Like, we just got some sparring rounds. Sometimes Piccolo battle, sometimes Gotenks battle. And Gotenks was also used in battle, and they literally trained pretty hard for becoming a fusion. Gotenks was pretty incredibly strong, or at least giving it some fighting. Yeah, it really gave him fighting, but the only problem was it was too full of himself. The fusion of Goten and Trunks. Yeah, that was the only big part, and also they were pretty much kids. But still the fusion sort of worked somehow. They at least were able to give it some challenge. Also Piccolo and Kuririn were the one training them, Yamcha I guess. Okay, I guess he meant Kuririn. And yeah, those parts were pretty much weird all along. And also Goku's time limit for which Goku cannot train. Piccolo had to take that entire thing. I felt sorry for Piccolo. And also sorry for Gotenks due to the fact that Goku couldn't come. And Goku at least managed to stall them somehow. One time. The Super Saiyajin 3. And even if Super Saiyajin 3 was only good enough for stalling, just think of the level. He just went to Super Saiyajin 3 for that, making him even more invincible compared to Cell. So that also defines the level he's in. Even Super Saiyajin 3 is not enough. For which we also later on had the Vegito, the fusion of Vegeta and Goku. And even that, well, that was the fusion who was able to give it a fight. Vegito, that was invincibly epic. Let me just say Vegito would be the strongest in Dragon Ball universe probably. Because Vegito is really that strong. And it definitely gave it a good fight. Mocking, having got pride, strength together, also combined with Goku's cheerfulness, I guess Goku's characteristic and Vegeta's characteristics together, making it a weirdly powerful combo. Just the strength itself, able to unleash both Goku's and Vegeta's powers, it was invincibly strong, and this just was pretty strong. Well, the fact was also the Vegito also failed due to the fact of that absorbing, and that was a bit of filler, and it was a pretty long one. And finally, we also had a last step going on. Gohan coming back in to battle Majin Buu, etc., becoming the Sword, getting a new power, and then battling. But yeah, even Gohan wasn't enough. Even they had to rescue him. But finally, what happened was the final battle at the Kaioshin place, and Kaioshin themselves were pretty, not Kaioshin, I guess, yeah, Kaioshin. Kaioshin themselves were pretty much fearful of it. And the final Kamehameha, the final one was Genki Dama. He literally had to use Genki Dama finally, and Vegeta also was pretty good in stalling. And after the actual Buu was released, the entire battle, it was all intense for me, according to me. And this video is also very intense due to Majin Buu. And yes, I have a lot to describe, but unfortunately I cannot describe the whole thing. And in summary though, I'll say it's definitely the strongest in the Dragon Ball universe entirely. It would be the strongest villain, at least in Dragon Ball Z. No competition, straight up leveling right here. And what do you think of it? Definitely giving you some troubles. And also the other he was beaten and also reborn, I guess. So if he reunites with that Majin Buu, the innocent one, just think of the power. A pretty good, pretty broken hero who would have the ability to surpass even Goku. So yeah, and Goku is also anticipating someone to surpass him. Goku himself is just getting stronger even when he's like a father, which makes it all pretty interesting. Evolution is constantly taking place. And yes, after that we have the Super, where he gets even stronger. So what I can say, if you just move on further to the series, you can see a stronger version of Goku. That's what goes on. So thank you all for watching, and hope to see you all in the next video. And please let me know in the comments how do you like my video, and if you have any other opinions about every villain I described, or if any villain could have been even stronger, I guess. Anyways, thanks a lot. Hope to see you all in the next video.